fraternal type feel to it that I struggled to believe that it just went out like a light like that. You're getting to what the Templars think, essentially.
Do you think the Templars think that?
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of discussion as to them being Gnostic and exactly what you just said, God within you and protecting of traditions, but recognizing that things have been changed and manipulated.
Yeah, well, the Templars, they were meant to protect Christ's bloodline, was sort of the, historical like myth around them. And they would also protect prophets and, kind of these weak, sickly seers. And they were a very interesting order. They had like a, banking system back in the day. And that's actually what got them into trouble because Philip the Fair, was indebted to them. And then he got really mad at, Jacques de Molay and Geoffrey du Charnay and all these guys. And basically, said that they were engaging in these blasphemous rituals.
Worked with the Vatican to off with their head.
Exactly, Pope Clement V, I believe. Yeah,
God, he's good. Not the fourth, the fifth.
The fifth, and I think, Jacques de Molay was, he had been in touch with Clement V, and I think Jacques de Molay might have had like a very interesting worldview that he was trying to get out. But
he was the leader of the Templars.
He was the leader of I should have the last Grand Master of the Templars, and I think it was Friday the 13th, 1307. That's right. He was arrested, and I don't know. It's like who knows exactly what they believed, but they're a very, very interesting group, and some people think that maybe they went underground. After he was arrested, and maybe they went into the, if you read the Umberto Eco, this like Italian medieval philosopher, he thinks that maybe they went into the tunnels of Provence and, in France. Other people think they went to Scotland. It's very interesting.
I have I studied the Templars a good bit. I wouldn't call myself an expert on it, but it's a very interesting topic to me.
Yeah, same.
I have a very hard time believing that their quote unquote bloodline ended when this thing went down, this raid basically, and then their leadership was executed. They had their hands on too many alleged secrets, and they had too much multi-country organization.
Yeah,
I mean, you point out the banking system and shit. Like, they were so advanced and operating on their own as this weird like warrior monk kind of thing, where all the Templars then had to put their money into the Templar group, but they lived well among all the Templar. But like, it had such a fraternal type feel to it that I struggled to believe that it just went out like a light like that. I would imagine it was kept alive. If you can start to pull at evidence and maybe use a lot of circumstantial things at best to try to tie it to like Freemasons or something like that. I don't know the answer to those things, but the concept of like protecting the bloodline of Christ or something. I mean, you want to talk about an ontological shock type thing. I mean, holy shit, bro.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Well, I think in some ways they were protecting the, at least Rudolf Steiner wrote a book, actually, the guy I mentioned, the 19th century Austrian philosopher, about the Templars. And he says that the Holy Grail is actually a metaphor for the human heart. And that kind of the macro war or whatever, the cosmic war actually goes on inside the human bloodstream. And that the Templars' rituals, they were simulating Peter's denial and like all sorts of like biblical stories and like these things that they would do. And he would say that it was all about almost self-purification. These were like self-purification rituals. And that you might be able to attain sort of a Christ-like consciousness or state or something through some of this stuff, and that the Templars were in order to protect. I mean, even like exoterically, they were there to protect pilgrims. And you had the hospitaliers or whatever who were like the medic side of that. So that was kind of their explicit intent. And then, who knows? It's all very interesting.
We go a lot of different
places. Da Vinci Code.
I really want to get that author in here.
Dan Brown?
Yeah.
Go to New Hampshire.
I've been working on it. But
have you? That'd be awesome.
He doesn't really do podcasts.
Yeah, he's pretty off the beaten path. Yeah. He's really cool, man. I mean, what a good. I love actually angels and demons. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, I've literally read the books. Like the movies are great, but like I've read the books. He's a really good writer, and the stories are wild. And like, yeah, I mean, it is a fictionalized story, and it draws on, some imagination. But there's a baseline of intense historical understanding of symbology and culture and religion that exists within those pages that is just wildly fascinating to me.
I agree.
But I got you on this tangent because you were talking about Gnosticism.
I got
you off that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue on that.
No, I don't know. I think. Well, I guess we were going back to the kind of alien thing. Like, are aliens like at all? Do they have to do with religion? I think the easy cynical like way to like write off religion is like, oh yeah, like they've been like messing with us and like causing like holy wars, but like really they just want the bloodshed or whatever. They're like mining us for like bad vibes. In the case of like Robert Monroe's like had this concept of, he studied consciousness in Virginia or whatever, and he had this idea of loosh and like these negative entities mining loosh. How would you do that at scale? Through like manufacturing wars or whatever. I think it's easy to like get into that like line of thinking. And then I think there's maybe another interesting line of thinking that's like, religion can be this like really cool kind of initiation path. And there's actually like a lot of truth in religion. And it's so easy to like dismiss the Bible out of hand, but actually it's like this. And if you read like both the Old Testament and the New Testament, like these are profound texts. Oh, yeah. They're like so fascinating.
Yes.
And they're texts I think you get something different out of depending on the level of like that you're at. And so it's important to like, I think, revisit these things. And
thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.